Hey everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Good Arguments podcast. And since this is episode 1, I'll obviously introduce myself. So my name is David Espeut. I have a rare French last name, and in France they probably don't pronounce the T at the end, but because my family is all from Jamaica, we pronounce the T. And by the way, Hurricane Melissa just ripped through Jamaica, so please pray for the nation and all the other countries affected by that horrible hurricane. Anyway, I'm what you might call an evangelical Christian, and I'm also a husband, a father, a worship leader, an author, a former school teacher, and an associate pastor here in the Greater Toronto area where I've lived my entire life. I recently completed a Master of Theological Studies from Heritage Seminary in Cambridge, Ontario, and I also hold a Bachelor's of Jazz Performance from the University of Toronto and a teaching degree from U of T as well. So I've named this the Good Arguments podcast for two reasons. It's got a bit of a double meaning. So the first one is that we will be having discussions, which some people like to call arguments. I don't. I think arguments are when they're negative, discussions are when they're positive. But anyhow, I just wanted to choose that word to be a little bit facetious. But I love to discuss and debate the issues. I think this is very biblical. Think about what the Apostle Paul does in the synagogues and in the Areopagus in Acts 17. He was reasoning. The Greek word is dialegomai, which means to converse, to discuss, to reason, to dispute, to argue, and to deliberate. He was doing it with his own people and with the Stoics and the philosophers. In other words, seekers and skeptics. So arguments can be good and are biblical. The other meaning is that Christians are told to have good reasons for the hope that they have in Jesus, 1 Peter 3:15, and to be prepared to share them. So we should be able to have good arguments or reasons for belief in God, the reliability of the Bible, and frankly, why we believe any of the Christian doctrines. So there you go. Good arguments can mean good discussions, and good arguments also means good reasons for Christian belief. So my hope is that all believers and unbelievers will follow and share and engage with the material in a respectful, charitable way. There's nothing more off-putting than someone who can't have good faith discussions or can't hear good faith discussions without resorting to name-calling and ad hominem attacks. So if it's your first instinct to insult your interlocutor like the philosophers do to Paul in Acts 17, just know that to all the other viewers, listeners, commenters, it seems like you wouldn't be able to defend your own views with good arguments. And so you end up looking bad. And so you don't want to do that. Let's just all preserve our egos and be respectful and rise above all of the childish rudeness that dominates social media. All right? So what will we be discussing, you ask? Well, everything related to theology and Christianity, but mainly the hard stuff to understand in Scripture, such as everything in Genesis 1 to 11, like creation, evolution, original sin, Noah's flood. We'll talk about biblical theology and how the Bible is one book with one meta-narrative, mainly about redemption history. So we'll talk about covenants and typology and literary genres and inerrancy and the nature of prophecy, Christology, the Trinity, eschatology, pretty much anything that's hard to understand about Christianity. Those are the things we will tackle and discuss. Well, I think that's all that needs to be said in this intro video to the Good Arguments podcast. So please subscribe on YouTube, follow on Instagram, and I'll probably put this out to all of the different places online that you can get podcasts. So we'll see you next time on the Good Arguments podcast.